Hello everybody, welcome back to the sessions on power electronics by Ramana. This is the 26th session in this series, and in this session we will extend our discussions on speed control of DC motor. Started in the last session. In this particular session we will be focusing the speed control of DC motors by using single phase rectifiers. That is when the source available is AC and you want to operate DC motors. In the previous session we have discussed the concepts of drives, electric drives and power electronic drives, their comparisons, advantages and disadvantages of power electronic drives. Next, speed control aspects of DC drives and AC drives, and again their advantages. And next, particularly the speed control aspects of DC motors were discussed, particularly in the case of with respect to the parameters on which the speed of these DC motors depend. It is factors affecting the speed control of DC motor. That is, the speed of DC motors is mainly dependent on the supply voltage, armature voltage applied across the armature, and the field current or field flux. So these are the three parameters on which the speed depends. N is proportional to EB by phi, N is proportional to V minus IARA, that is EB by phi, and depending on those parameters only, various speed control of DC motors are categorized. Methods of speed control of DC motors, again, that is supply voltage control, armature control and field control. These things we have discussed in the previous session, and in this session we will extend the concept of power electronic drives to achieve the speed control of DC motors. One by one, that is, first we will discuss shunt motors and next series motors. So in this particular session, we will be mainly discussing the speed control aspects of DC shunt motors by using single phase rectifiers or converters for the case of shunt as well as series motors. To start with, first we have to understand the selection of particular converters, power electronic devices, and also the circuit configurations which are suitable for a particular purpose, and those things mainly depend on the ratings of the motors. For smaller ratings up to 5 kilowatt, we can use single phase half wave controlled or half wave control, half bridge rectifiers or full bridge rectifiers with full wave rectification, and above that it will be better to use 3-phase rectifiers. As the ratings increase, it will be better, and the average outputs of the rectifiers will be better in case of 3-phase bridges, may it be half bridge or full bridge. So up to below 1 kilowatt, or we can say fractional horsepower DC motors, single phase half wave control rectifier itself will be enough. In some of the cases, even controlled rectifier may not be used just for a fixed voltage. You can give the output, but to have the control, you have to vary it. Then control aspect has to be introduced. Up to 5 kilowatts, single phase controlled half bridge or full bridge rectifiers. Mostly will be using full bridge only. And as the ratings increase, 3-phase half bridge, 3-phase full bridge rectifiers up to 400 kilowatts. Even above 400 kilowatts also we can use, where we'll be using same 3-phase full bridge rectifiers, but with increase the number of pulses. 12 pulse rectifiers are uh, rectifiers operating with more number of pulses. But again, before going to see the actual speed control aspects, just try to recall that whatever rectifiers we have listed here now, these are nothing but the rectifiers we have discussed in our previous sessions way back during the unit 2, where we have elaboratedly discussed the converters or rectifiers. To start with, center tapped or midpoint rectifiers, half wave only. With two diodes it can be full wave, but again control aspect will not be there. Even with a single SCR we can have half wave. Even with two SCRs with center tapped we can have full wave. And as we want more efficient average voltage to be fed to the DC load, then full bridge can be employed. Again in full bridge it may be a combination of SCRs and diodes, that is semi converters or half controlled or semi controlled converters. And when in the full bridge we use all SCRs, all four SCRs or other controllable devices, then it can be called as full bridge, fully controlled converter or rectifier or full converter. So all the concept whatever we have discussed in the rectifier cases or converter cases, they are applicable in these cases of speed control of DC motors, where just we can understand the concepts by simply replacing the load in the previous cases by DC motors. DC motors. The difference will be, again in the previous cases we have discussed the behavior of the rectifier circuits with resistive load and also with inductive load, and where resistance and inductive load combinations were taken. Resistance and inductive load combinations were taken. There freewheeling diodes were used. The concept of freewheeling diodes also we discussed. Freewheeling diodes will provide a circulating path for the leftover energy stored inside the inductive load to get dissipated in itself. Then what would be the difference if we replace that inductive load with a DC motor? There will be another extended feature where not only not only due to the inductive nature of the load or inductive winding, not only the self-induced EMF or energy stored in the inductance will be there, but added to that, in the DC motors, the back EMF or counter EMF induced comes into the picture. So that back EMF during certain instances can be fed back to the source, which is regeneration, which we particularly discussed in case of 4-quadrant chopper in the previous sessions, where motoring, braking and regeneration was also considered. So because of this regeneration concept, or when back EMF is fed back to the source, we can that will be an instance where the energy stored will be far more than the source supply voltage itself. That is why energy will be fed back through the same freewheeling diode or feedback diodes to the supply. Whereas if the back EMF were not there, the energy stored inside the load inductance will be consumed in itself via the circulating path provided by the same feedback or freewheeling diode. So that is the concept we have to understand before moving to the speed control aspects of DC motors. That inductive load is replaced by now an inductive load which can generate also during some instance due to the back EMF concept. Here is the simple circuit shown for speed control of DC shunt motor using single phase half wave thyristor drive. Thyristor SCR. In all our discussions, we will be following SCRs only. They can be any other power electronic device also. Basically, we will be discussing mainly for SCRs. Here is shown the circuit in which the supply, which is single phase, is rectified into DC by using a diode bridge. And its output is fed to the DC motor. That is same supply across the armature as well as the shunt field winding. So whatever DC output voltage which is coming out of the diode bridge, it is totally fed to the shunt field winding without any alteration. Whereas the same thing is fed to the armature via an SCR connected in series with the armature. And in the circuit shown, the SCR with its related firing circuit and a freewheeling diode connected across the armature for the circulating currents during the release of energy stored inside the armature winding inductance. So this is the simplest of the case where the available supply is single phase, so we have to compulsorily convert it to DC. And the control aspects we have for DC shunt motor is we can control the speed of the shunt motor by using field flux or by using the voltage applied across the armature or by changing the total actual applied voltage to the total motor, that is supply voltage control. In most of the cases, we will confine our discussions for armature control only, that is armature voltage control or rheostatic control. In this case, we will not be using any rheostats or variable resistances. Simply, we will be using SCRs in series with the armature. Then how will we vary that voltage? And it is obvious that by changing the conduction times of the SCR, we can control the total average output voltage or average voltage fed to the armature in a given half cycle. So there comes the simplest of the case. Let us come back again to the source side. This is a bridge rectifier. So during the positive half cycle, when the topmost point is positive, voltage is fed to the armature as well as the field via D1 like this. So shunt field is constant, it will be the same path for that. So voltage is fed via D1, SCR, armature, D2 and back to the supply. So during the positive half cycle, voltage is fed like that. During the negative half cycle, when the lower terminal becomes negative, more positive, or becomes phase, the voltage will now be supplied via D3, SCR and armature and back to the supply source via D4. In both the half cycles, the direction of applied voltage as well as current through the armature as well as field will be the same. So it is a unidirectional current, UDC as we know it. And that will be as it is fed to the shunt field winding, there will not be any change. Only in the armature circuit will be making the enough changes. So during both the half cycles, SCR will get forward biased, but it will turn on only when some triggering pulse is given via the firing circuit. So when thyristor is until thyristor is not fired, full voltage will be appearing across the thyristor and armature will not get any voltage, or that is from between 0 to alpha. At firing angle alpha, you will fire the SCR and it conducts. So just go through the waveforms which we already know. This is a supply waveform. Between 0 to alpha, total voltage across the load will be 0. SCR will be blocking the total voltage. And when at angle alpha, gate signal is given to the SCR, it conducts. Now full voltage will be appearing across the armature, and also current flows through the armature. It increases gradually due to the inductive nature. And see, at pi degrees, actually the circuit is bridge circuit, diode bridge circuit. This negative half cycle gets converted into positive half cycle. Half cycle. But at the zero crossing itself, this SCR turns off. Though the direction of current is the same due to the rectification, that is, you will be getting UDC, but this SCR gets turned off at the zero crossing because the voltage becomes zero. The DC voltage becomes zero. There will be a drastic drop of voltage, and eventually current will also be decreasing. So SCR will be reverse biased itself at pi itself, and once the current becomes less than the holding current, it turns off. SCR turns off, and during the negative half cycle, no triggering pulse will be given to the SCR, so no current will be flowing through the armature. So this is only half wave thyristor drive. Only half of the input wave is allowed for the to enter the armature, and this is the portion during which the current flows through the load owing to the energy stored inside the armature inductance, and freewheels through the freewheeling diode. And once it becomes zero, during this period, no voltage or current. The same circuit can also be used for full wave thyristor drive, where you can control this firing circuit to turn on this SCR, at an alpha or firing angle which is more than this inductive supply period, or if these periods are synchronized, then the voltage and current waveforms can be continuous, or you can convert that into full wave. That is the concept used in DC motor speed control. And particularly, again, when we talk of the source voltage, there will not be any need basically to use a full controlled converter bridge over here, because it becomes supply voltage control, which is not of very use. Okay, even we are not using the supply voltage control. If we use fully controlled bridge over here, but even after that, we have to control particularly the voltage fed to the armature separately, where the output of the bridge will be fed to the field also. That should be maintained constant. So that is the important feature for the speed control of DC motors, which we have to keep in mind, that both field flux and armature voltage should not be varied at the same time. For armature control method, field flux should be kept constant, and for field control method, armature voltage will be kept constant. In all our discussions, we will be following this discussion only armature control method. So field should be always getting its constant voltage, so that flux is maintained constant. For that purpose, we need not have any fully controlled bridge circuit over here. A diode bridge will suffice actually. And if we can tune the circuits, turn on and turn off of the circuit such that this SCR, a single SCR only, can be turned on in each half cycle, in each positive half cycles which are continuous actually. That is where this will be converted into positive half cycle. In each half cycle, if you can provide a gate pulse, that will be turned on, it will be getting continuous currents and voltages. That will be discussed later. So this is the diode bridge circuit which converts AC voltage to DC voltage for a half wave. Shunt field winding is directly fed from the bridge rectifier. Armature winding is fed from the bridge rectifier through the thyristor. Their control will be introduced. Freewheeling diode is connected across the armature and provides a circulating path for the release of energy stored in the inductance during the thyristor turn off periods. Is controlled by varying the firing angle alpha. So what is this? Not only in this armature control method of DC shunt motor or series motor, for all the motor controls, mainly the procedure adopted for control is firing angle control only, or that is nothing but phase control technique, where we will be increasing or decreasing alpha, thus the conduction time or conduction angle will increase. If the conduction time is more, conduction angle is more average output voltage will be there. Likewise, you can control the action. At omega t equal to alpha, SCR is triggered. The output voltage of the bridge rectifier appears across the motor armature terminals and field winding. And SCR is reverse bias at the end of each half cycle. This is the most important thing which you have to understand. Otherwise, we might think that as the output coming out of the bridge rectifier is DC, then what is the need of this firing circuit? Or even if we fire this SCR at a particular angle alpha, we have to turn this SCR by force commutation technique, just like other DC circuits, that is DC choppers. It appears, or we get a feeling that forced commutation is required for the circuit, but it is not true in this case. As at zero crossings, the decrease in voltage will be high and our voltage becomes zero. It will be automatically reversed when current becomes less than the holding current. It gets turned off automatically, just like any other natural commutation or on phase commutation or line commutation method. So as the bridge output voltage becomes zero, at that instant SCR is reverse bias at the end of each off cycle. The current waveform will go to zero beyond pi due to the presence of inductance. It will take certain time to decrease to zero. So these are the half wave thyristor drives. The same things, all the terminology, all the working procedures are applicable to all the remaining circuits which we are going to discuss for shunt motors as well as series motors. That is even for single phase full wave thyristor drives for DC shunt motors, or half wave as well as full wave thyristor drives for DC series motors also. The same procedures which we have discussed so far are applicable, and the same circuits with smaller changes can be adopted for full wave as well as half wave. Two similar circuits are shown for the speed control of DC shunt motor using single phase full wave thyristor drive in these circuits. Full wave, the bridge rectifier is made up of diodes in both the things. For the single phase supply, shunt field is directly connected across the bridge. It will be getting its full rated voltage. Armature is connected in series with the SCR across the same supply. So the same control which we have discussed in the up to this moment will come into picture. And the triggering circuit. Now the triggering circuits to provide the required pulse to the SCR at the required instant is designed via SUS, that is silicon unilateral switch in this circuit and diac in this circuit. The triggering of an SCR by diac on triac or triggering of triac by diac, it is similar. So here SCR is triggered by diac in this case, in this it is by SUS. All other things are the features of the circuit where this capacitor and potential dividers and are chosen such that they will be in tune with the half cycles frequencies or the times of the circuit. For hour it is 50 Hz, that is 0.02 seconds, and 0.01 second for a given half cycle. So in every 0.01 seconds these capacitors should be charged and build up voltages which will be sufficient to trigger these SUS or diacs in this case, which will in turn give a triggering pulse to the given SCR at the given angle alpha in each half cycle or in every half cycle. Thus, in every half cycle, SCR1 will be triggered and it gets turned off at the zero crossing, immediate zero crossing. From 0 to alpha and pi plus alpha, likewise it will be turned off. During that period, the energy stored due to the armature inductance will freewheel through this diode D3 in this circuit. In this it will freewheel through this diode D2 in this circuit. All these things will follow in the same sequence, and these are the potential dividers or R1 or R. These are used to tune the capacitor charging times to vary the alpha. Both are having both operate under the same concept. So that is how these two circuits can be used for speed control of DC shunt motor with full wave thyristor drive, where in each half cycle SCR will be turned off. So net average voltage applied across the armature will be increased. That is how these two circuits work. Full wave. This is another circuit in the prototype decades back developed by General Electric, which was the actual thing behind this. In this circuit also is shown a diac used to trigger a SCR. All these specifications and values are in tune to turn this SCR in each half cycle, every half cycle. And obviously General Electric, that is from US, where the frequency is 60 Hz and single phase AC is 120 volts. Then there where a thyrector which will maintain the voltage, and the diode bridge is used. The same field is connected across the diode bridge, which will be getting its full voltage, and this is the resistance which can be varied to change the charging and discharging times of these capacitors. So the total circuit is designed such that the SCR gets turned on in each half cycle, that is at alpha, at pi plus alpha, at 3 pi by 2 plus alpha, at 2 pi plus alpha, likewise. And at every zero crossing, voltage becomes zero, current freewheels through the diode, or the energy stored inside the armature inductance will freewheel through the diode D5. So again the same concept as we have discussed in the previous slides, that is these two slides. So all these three circuits can be used as full wave circuits. Not only that, we can use these circuits as half wave thyristor drives also. If we can block the circuit so that triggering pulse to the SCR is given only in a one half cycle, in alternate half cycles. This is another circuit shown for the speed control of DC shunt motor single phase full wave thyristor drive, where a fully controlled bridge, all SCRs containing all SCRs T1, T2, T3, T4. A fully controlled bridge or full converter rectifier circuit is used to feed the shunt motor. And obviously from the circuit it is evident that this is used as for supply voltage control. See, this is the supply voltage. Okay, here it is this is the supply voltage, not IA, supply voltage, and in each it is a full wave rectifier bridge, so actually the load voltage will be UDC, and these SCRs are controlled such that they will be fired at alpha. From alpha to pi, T1, T2 will conduct. From pi plus alpha to 3 pi by 2, T3, T4 will conduct. Likewise, during these intervals, the stored energy inside the inductance will become zero. That freewheels through the freewheeling diode. As similar to the concepts we have discussed so far. So net average voltage applied across the armature as well as the field will decrease. So eventually speed will decrease. But you will be having continuous current owing to the inductive action of the armature field. So that is how the different circuits are adopted to control the speed of DC shunt motors by using single phase, half wave and also full wave thyristor drives. And these circuits can be designed in different fashions, whether they can be fully controlled, half controlled or uncontrolled diode bridges with a simple SCR control in the same way we have discussed. So any type of circuit can be used for the speed control. In our syllabus, you will be having mainly the full wave thyristor drive with full controlled such circuits, where full wave is allowed to half wave and full wave. This one, where full wave is allowed to enter the armature. Next, we will take up the case of speed control of DC series motors using single phase half wave thyristor drive. Again, contrary to the previous case of shunt motor, this is the simplest one, where we have field and armature connected in series, whereas in case of shunt motors, that is nothing but field is connected in parallel or shunt with the armature. So a constant supply voltage should be given to the field, and separate arrangements to trigger or fire the SCR was adopted. Even for the half wave also a diode bridge was used. But in case of series motors, as the total supply is given to the armature and field in series, half wave means simply connect the single phase AC supply to the series motor. When only positive half cycle flows through the armature, during the positive half cycle of the source, and as negative half cycle will not enter During the negative half cycle, it is half wave rectification, as simple as it is. So here are two different circuits shown. In both, an SCR is used with the same diag triggering, except that this is there is a diode in reverse bias condition over here, so that SCR will not conduct in reverse via the gate. All other features are same. By changing this resistance, variable resistance, the capacitor can be tuned for the triggering times of the SCR via the diag, or it should be tuned to break the diag breakover voltage, diag forward voltage, so the diag can conduct at the required instant. So it is a straightforward case. In the past, when the supply is on, during the positive half cycle, between 0 to alpha, SCR will not conduct. Field will be getting its full voltage, flux will be developed, but nothing will happen. No current will be flowing through the armature via the SCR, but it flows via this variable resistance to the capacitor, or capacitor gets charged. Capacitor gets charged during that instant, and at alpha, our capacitor builds up sufficient voltage to trigger this diag, or to break over the forward voltage of the diag at alpha, so that diag conducts into the gate of the SCR and SCR conducts. When the SCR conducts, the total circuit completes. Now series field as well as armature will be connected in series with the supply during the positive half cycle. And again at zero crossover for the negative half cycle, SCR gets automatically turned off. And due to the inductance, that voltage will be negative for some time due to the back EMF or residual flux, and only positive half cycles will be entering the motor. So as the negative half cycles are totally eliminated, average voltage entering the armature will be less, so speed will decrease. So that is how speed is controlled in case of single phase half wave thyristor drives for DC series motors. All other things are same, but the disadvantage of this thing is, as the current is varied or the voltage, applied voltage varies, series field will also decrease. That is, the speed control of DC series motor is rather difficult when compared to shunt motors, where shunt field winding is connected in parallel to the armature separately. You can give a separate full voltage to the shunt field. That is, even when you change the voltage to the armature, nothing will happen to the field in case of shunt motors, whereas in case of series motors, the same voltage is applied across the armature as well as the series field. Same current flows through both of them, so speed control is somewhat difficult, and it follows the square of the flux. And again, we can design these parameters, these components, such that you can turn on the SCR in each half cycle also, just similar to the case of shunt motor. But that is not followed in the most of the cases. But it can be done like which is shown in this case. This is single phase full wave thyristor drive, where a similar diode bridge, which we discussed for the case of shunt motors, is used over here. Its output, that is series field as well as the armature. SCR is turned on by triggering pulse by tuning of this potential divider circuit and capacitor. And in each half cycle, this SCR will be triggered. the same things will follow what we have discussed in the previous case. Now this diode is connected for circulation of field flux across it. Here is shown another thyristor drive comprising of all SCRs for the series motor, which will also act in the same fashion. So that this is diode bridge with a single SCR, and this is all SCR, that is fully controlled rectifier. Supply voltage control is used in this case, and this is another single phase half controlled or semi controlled but full wave thyristor. Semi controlled or half controlled means it is comprising of a combination of SCR and a diode. During the positive half cycle, current flows via T1, the series field armature, D1 and back. During the negative half cycle, it flows via D2 in the same original direction via T2 and back. So T1 is triggered at alpha for the positive half cycle, T2 is triggered at pi plus alpha for the negative half cycle. So from alpha to pi, this is the conduction time during which T1 and D1 will be conducting, whereas between pi to pi plus alpha and 0 to alpha, this is the time where the inductive energy will be freewheeled. During that, D1 and D2 will be acting as circulating paths for the remaining energy of the inductance to be fed back or consumed in itself. From pi plus alpha to 2 pi, T2 and D2 will be conducting. So that is how a single phase full wave thyristor drive works for speed control, and as alpha increases, conduction time decreases, average output will decrease. If you want to increase means you should decrease alpha. So likewise you can change the speed, or that is how speed control is achieved in case of DC series motors by using thyristor drives. Again, they can be half controlled or half wave controlled, half controlled full bridge for full wave, uncontrolled full bridge with a single SCR controlled full wave, and this is a fully controlled full bridge full wave thyristor drive. Depending on the situations, depending on the ratings which we discussed in the starting slides, we can choose whatever circuit or whatever configuration we want to have for the speed control of DC series motors. So these are the concepts which are generally followed for the speed control of DC shunt motors as well as series motors. When it comes to series motors, the field control method is again difficult. In case of shunt motor, it was simple. Just by varying the field flux, by increasing variable resistance, or by connecting an SCR and control the firing angle, you can change that. But in case of series motors, field is in series with the armature. So to change that, either you will be using field diverter method or tapped field control method for series motors. That is not achieved and that is not followed in case of power electronic drives of series motor control. Other method, in fact, for both DC shunt motor as well as series motor, the armature control technique itself is used, which we have discussed so far in this session. So to summarize, we have discussed the various thyristor drives used for speed control of DC motors depending on their ratings, and single phase half wave thyristor drives for both shunt and series motors, single phase full wave thyristor drives for both DC shunt and series motors, Actually, whatever we discussed in case of rectifiers, they are applicable over here. So in fact, I have taken number of different configurations of circuits and explained the working procedures and how the waveforms vary. Just by explaining the procedure and how it happens in half-wave thyristor drives, which can be applied for others also. So just by understanding the behavior and working of these circuits, make your own notes and try to develop the concepts, how the current flow and voltage develop across the load will be there from 0 to alpha, alpha to pi, likewise. So that is what we have discussed in this session, that is speed control aspects of shunt and series motors. Now it is the time for a simple quiz. The purpose of freewheeling diode is to improve the load current waveform, improve the power factor, both A and B, none of A, B and C. This is the same old question concept we know. It is freewheeling diodes by providing circulating path. Otherwise the current would have been zero. Now it will be continuous current, or discontinuity of current will be eliminated. Continuous current, that is load current waveform, will be improved. Once the load current waveform is improved, it means the power factor is also improved. So both A and B is the answer. Freewheeling diode improves the load current waveforms as well as improves the power factor. Above 400 kilowatt, what type of rectifier circuit is used for speed control of DC motors? Above 400 kilowatts. Obviously single phase, half wave, full wave will not be suffice. Three phase full bridge can be used even up to 400 kilowatts. Above 400 kilowatts, we want efficient control by increasing the number of pulses. That is, three phase 12 pulse converters or rectifier circuits are used for speed control of DC motors above 400 kilowatts. The answer is three phase 12 pulse converter. So that is enough for today's session. Frequently asked questions, whatever we have discussed, elaborately explain the circuit and waveforms for the speed control of shunt motor, single phase half wave, single phase full wave, and the same things for DC series motor, single phase half wave and single phase full wave converters. That is the main aspects of speed control of DC shunt motor and series motors by applying single phase rectifiers where the available source of supply is single phase or AC. That is why we are in discussion. But for better speed control of DC motors, choppers are always a suitable option where there will not be any conversion. Basically it is DC to DC. Chopper control will be very useful. We can efficiently control armature voltage as well as field flux separately. In all the case of DC motors, may it be separately excited to compound motors. So the speed control aspects of the same motors by using choppers will be discussed in the next session. Thank you.